someone who's fasted the whole year. If you fast 6 days of Shawwal, this is an encouragement for the Prophet to say, look, you fasted 30 days in a row, don't just stop. Now 6 days in the month after is 2 days less than 8. And I say 8 because every month usually has 4 weeks. And we fast Monday and we fast Thursday. Yeah? That should be the status quo afterwards. It should be that after Ramadan we're fasting Mondays and Thursdays. It should be. And when you fast the 6 days of Shawwal, for me anyway, I feel like Ramadan is, I feel the same way I felt when I was in Ramadan. Does anyone, have you felt that?
Yeah.
Have you felt that? Yes? No? Too early? Okay. First Ramadan? Alright. So, have you felt, has anyone felt it? That when you fast this after Ramadan, the 6 days, it feels like you're still in Ramadan? Okay? Because the blessing in Ramadan is that there's a blessing, but Allah is the creator. And He's there after Ramadan, during Ramadan, before Ramadan. Okay? So, what you're doing in Ramadan, you can carry on doing afterwards. Yes, it's prohibited to fast every single day like that. And the best of fast is the fast of Prophet Dawood, one day yes, one day no. Okay? But the shaitan, the second Ramadan finishes, will say, wow, what you did in Ramadan is because of Ramadan. And that's wrong. And what you did in Ramadan is because of you. Because of you. It's not because of Ramadan. And trust me, there are many people in Ramadan who are not doing what you're doing. Yeah? So if it was Ramadan, I mean the three Muppets that killed the terrorist act. Yeah? In Ramadan, if it was Ramadan, it wouldn't have happened. It was because of Ramadan, right? But it's not because of Ramadan, it's the individual. Okay, so after Ramadan, you and me, when we were doing what we were doing in Ramadan, we can carry on with that after Ramadan. But it is a shock on the system to be doing Ramadan for the rest of the year. You have to work, you have to gradually build up. So now, what I want you to do is list what you've been doing in Ramadan differently than outside of Ramadan. Right now in your notepads and your mobiles. Yeah? List what you've been doing in Ramadan different than before Ramadan. List it. Please write it down, not just in your imagination. Do you have a mobile?
I've got it written down, to be honest.
Your dad's wise man, huh? Huh?
It's at home in my diary, to
All
be
right.
honest. All right.
Do this when you get home, please.
Yeah, inshallah.
Inshallah. Or if anyone has an extra pen and paper you can give to a brother, that would be useful. Or a whole notebook, mashallah. Okay. Yeah, exactly. So what have you been doing in Ramadan extra than before Ramadan? The extra prayers, the extra fasting, the sadaqah, maybe visiting your parents, smiling more, brushing your teeth more because you don't want people to smell it. What have you been doing in Ramadan more than before? Write it down. Okay? Okay, mashallah. Keep writing, it's all good. Let me know when you finished. Okay? Done? Done? Anyone need more time? Alright, so now write down next to each one that you're doing now extra, how much you're doing before Ramadan. So, for example, if you wrote down, I'm reading 1 juz of Quran a day in Ramadan, how much did you read before? If you're fasting every single day for 30 days, how many days did you fast the month before and the month before that? And do that for everything that you wrote. Okay? Alright? Done most of it? Now look at the discrepancy. Yeah? Look at the difference, the potential between them both. Some of you, the second bit was a lot quicker. Just like, oops. Yeah? Some of you know there was more. So notice the discrepancy, notice the difference. Okay? Now after Ramadan, the plan is to do the following. Pick one of the contexts that you've written down. One of the things, reading Quran, going to the mosque to pray, praying Tahajjud, Taraweeh, Qiyam al-Layl, fasting, reading Quran, etc. So if, for example, you read the whole Quran in Ramadan once, after Ramadan, I want the month after Ramadan that you do half of what you did in Ramadan. So you choose one of these categories, one of the tasks that you did in Ramadan, much better than before, and the difference between it. Do you understand? So like, let's say for example, before Ramadan, in the month before Ramadan, you read 5 ajza. In Ramadan, you read 30 ajza. What's the difference between that? 25. What's half of that? 12 and a half, let's say 12. Next month, in Shawwal, you read 12 ajza. Do you understand? And then the month after, you read the difference. You have a choice now. Either you close the gap again by half, or you choose another thing on your list and close the gap by half. Does that make sense? So, if you choose fasting, for example, today you're fasting 30 days, okay? The maximum you could do, really, that's part of the sunnah, is to fast 1 day on, 1 day off, so you'll be fasting 15 days in the next month. Yeah? And if you try it, you'll find this very beautiful. Or you could say, no, I'm going to start with the 6th of Shawwal. Or I'm just going to start with 8, Monday and Thursday, Monday and Thursday, Monday and Thursday. The month after that, you say, okay, well now, either I make the fasting more, so that I do Monday and Thursday and the 3 white days, the Bid, Ayam al-Bid in the middle of the month, 14, 15, 16. And then the month after that, you decide, okay, you know what, let me give this a go, 1 day on, 1 day off. Or you could just do Monday and Thursday, and then the month after that you say, well, let me move on to something else on my list. Instead of just reading 5 ajza a month, let me read 15. Does that make sense? So every category of action, you close the distance between what it was before Ramadan and during Ramadan. So that in 12 months' time, your capacity is so close to what you were doing in this Ramadan, due to the compound nature of what. Does that make sense? So next month, you read 15 ajza of Quran. The month after, you're like, you know what, I'm going to keep the 15 ajza, I'm not going to do more, but I want to fast. You keep the 15 ajza, remember, because consistency is what we're after. You keep the 15 ajza, but you also fast. Or if you say, no, I'm going to fast next month, I'm not going to read the Quran as much as now. Then the month 2, you keep the fast, but you do more Quran. Does that make sense? Yeah? So in this way, next month we're doing a drastic cut down. Really, compared to Ramadan, it's a drastic cut down. But the aim, the plan, is that by next year, before Ramadan, you're almost as good, if not better, than your best in Ramadan now. And then can you imagine what next Ramadan will be like? Yeah? Fasting will be a breeze. A breeze. Instead of struggling to finish the Quran once, you'll finish it 3, 4, 5 times. Yeah? But this needs planning. This needs planning. When Abu Bakr, the Prophet ﷺ, after Fajr, he asked the Sahaba a few questions. He said, who here has attended a funeral prayer? The Sahaba said, Ya Rasulullah, it's after Fajr. We just woke up. Yeah? Abu Bakr said, I did. He said, who here has attended, has visited someone who's sick? He said, Ya Rasulullah, it's just Fajr. Abu Bakr said, I did. And then he said, who here has given charity to the orphans or a widow? He said, Ya Rasulullah, it's just Fajr. Abu Bakr said, I did. Okay. So Abu Bakr, what's the difference between Abu Bakr and everyone else? The difference in Abu Bakr is this consistency. Other people might understand consistency. You know what, let me do something small, but consistently. Abu Bakr is not like that. Abu Bakr is, let me do something and keep making it bigger consistently. To the degree, look, you know, this ummah, nothing will change about this ummah until the capacity of the individuals within it have changed. Yeah? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, He does not change a people until they change themselves. Okay? And in an ayah, لَا يُكَلِّفُ اللَّهُ نَفْسًا إِلَّا وُسْعَهَا, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not burden a soul except, and this is where people translate it in one way, and I understand it in that way and another way. They translate it like that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not burden a soul except with that which is within its capacity. That which is within its capacity. Yeah? But wus'aha is fu'laha. Is ala wazn fu'laha in Arabic. I understand it to mean that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not burden a soul except with its own expansion. Except that, meaning that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not burden you except that you grow. He wants you to grow. This is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has ordained upon you. That you grow. Yeah. That you're constantly striving, you're constantly expanding your horizons. That you constantly, you know, they say the comfort zone. Yeah? Stay within your comfort zone. What we're talking about here is expanding your comfort zone. Yeah? So that you're more comfortable with more things. Because the polarity or the dichotomy that's always presupposed in the discussion is that they say, oh, either you stay in your comfort zone or you go out of your comfort zone and take a risk and grow. No. The believer is the one who expands his comfort zone. So that it's no longer a risk. It's comfortable. Yeah. And think about it. Before you came to Birmingham or before you went to uni or before you this, it was uncomfortable. Yeah. Right now you've expanded your comfort zone. Fasting is a breeze now. It's okay. I mean, you're hungry, but it's okay. You've expanded your comfort zone. Before you were going out of your comfort zone. Now you've expanded it. Does that make sense? So the point here is that you want to expand your comfort zone so that before next Ramadan, your comfort zone is equal to what it is in this Ramadan. You don't want next Ramadan to be the same as this Ramadan. And the Prophet ﷺ said, the loser is the one whose day is equal to his yesterday. And just that is a very, that's such a scary thought. That if you prayed 5 times a day today and you pray 5 times a day tomorrow, you're a loser. You're a waster. Yeah? Because you've done the same thing. If you say subhanallah 100 times today and you say it 100 times tomorrow, you've done the same thing. Yeah? Increase it by just 1. Now if that's your motto, if that's your attitude, if that's your ethos in life, do you think that after a month you will be the same person? Just 1 month, never mind the year. Never mind the year. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sends us Ramadan to show you what you're capable of. It's not to show you this is the best you can be. It's to show you what you're capable of. And so when Abu Bakr, at Fajr, this happens, it's like, wow. And the Prophet ﷺ, he said, no one has these attributes in one day, no one does these things in one day except that he is given paradise. End of story. Now, Abu Bakr, when he was Khalifa, Umar radiallahu anhu would always, there was an old woman, and he would always rush to her house because she needed someone to sweep and to clean and to cook for her, etc. He would always rush to her house after he finished work. And he'd always get there and she would tell him, someone beat you. Someone came before you. Now the way that like 9 to 5, literally 5 o'clock he'd rush. So he's like, how is it possible that someone got here before me every single day? So then the day after he said, you know what? I'm going to do this today. And he left well before. And he got there and he saw the man that was sweeping her house. Hunched, very skinny. And he said, is it you, Abu Bakr? And Abu Bakr said, well, what can I do? Yeah. Now when did this happen? When did this happen? When Abu Bakr was the Khalifa. Yeah. Now Abu Bakr is the Khalifa, he's married to 2 women. He's got his own kids. He has his own work. He's got his own life. And he's Khalifa. I mean, imagine like now, the Imam of the mosque. I'm not going to say a president. The Imam of the mosque.
It's not exactly an easy time.
Hard, isn't it? You're overwhelmed, you're burdened, you're this, you're that.
Not just like the shurub al-ridda and all that.
Yeah, everything. Yeah, everything. He's carrying the burden that the Prophet ﷺ was carrying before him. Okay? But look, he takes it in his stride. Who the hell has the capacity to clean an old woman's home when he's in charge of a mosque? Never mind in charge of a whole nation that's expanding, going to Persia and going into Rome. Who has that? A nation that's gone into Egypt and they're slowly moving towards Spain. Who has that capacity? Well, he has that capacity because he increased his capacity, he increased his comfort zone. The Prophet said once he's walking with the Sahaba and an old woman comes and holds his hand and starts talking to him. And who is he? Married to his wives. He's a father. He's a statesman. He's a prophet. He's the Imam of the mosque. He's every single role that anyone could ever have. And the woman comes up to him, holds his hand, and he doesn't let her go until she's finished what she's saying. How does he do this? If you've ever been in a position of responsibility, you feel overwhelmed. Why? Because you haven't increased your capacity. They take it in their stride. You look at one of their days, you're like, Wallahi, I couldn't do that in 5 years. I couldn't do that in 5 years. I wouldn't know how to cram what you're doing in 5 years, and you've done it in one day. Yeah. When you find, for example, that Imam Shafi'i was amazing. He was an amazing archer. An amazing archer. He could hit 100 arrows inside each other. So the first one would be a bullseye. The second one would split the first arrow. The third one would split the second arrow. Fourth arrow, 100 times. You know how long it takes to be that amazing at anything. Even darts. Never mind right? And to get it to go into the last arrow. And he's Imam Shafi'i. And he wasn't just amazing at fiqh. He is the founder of Usul al-Fiqh, really. Yeah, or at least the formalizing founder of Usul al-Fiqh. As well as the people used to come to him to learn Arabic. As well as poetry. As well. And you'd be like, what? When you look at some of the scholars in Islam, they were I can't remember what it's called.
Polymaths.
Polymaths.
Yeah.
Polymaths, yeah. Chemist, geologist, physicist, imam, blah, blah, blah. Before, in the Ottoman Empire, if you wanted to get a job as an imam, they would ask you, what is your CV? Oh, I studied Sharia. Come on, go get lost. You studied Sharia. This is like, of course you studied Sharia. What's this? Why are you coming here? Yeah. They had to have 3 languages. They had to have had Sharia to a degree, not graduate, but like masters or more. They had to be maths, physics, chemistry. Yeah. How do we do this? These are the people that change the world. These are the people that establish a nation. Yeah? These are the people. So this is Ramadan is a time for you to realize what you're capable of. It's not a time for you to go, wow, that was Ramadan. It wasn't Ramadan. It wasn't Ramadan. Yeah? The shuyukh that are standing all night praying in Ramadan, you think they could do that if they weren't doing it before Ramadan? Impossible. It's very difficult. Yeah. Impossible. But one of us gets so tired after fasting and going to work, and then he comes and prays for an hour and a half. And then Ramadan finishes, he doesn't pray sunnah afterwards. Never mind for an hour and a half qiyam. Yeah? So you find out where you are now in Ramadan, your full capacity, you've written it all down, and where you are before Ramadan, and find out the difference. And then every single month you want to close that gap by 50%. Does that make sense? So actually it should get easier. It should get easier. I mean, the gap that you're closing is not as much with every single month. Does that make sense up to now? Is there any questions? Because it's a practical, isn't it? It's a practical approach. I'm not saying to you, carry on what you're doing in Ramadan after. No, it's very hard. Cut it by a fifth. But then catch each one of those fifths up, close that gap. Close that gap. So that wallahi, by 6-7 months, you're back to where you were in Ramadan. And then afterwards, you're just flying. Does it make sense? Yeah? Now in Ramadan, because some of the categories, you've probably written all over the external categories like praying, fasting, reading Quran, etc. One of the categories you might have forgotten is patience. Yeah? How patient have you been? How patient have you been in Ramadan? Yeah? How patient have you been in Ramadan? How forgiving have you been in Ramadan? How much have you remembered Allah in Ramadan? Whether you've read Quran or not, but how much have you remembered Allah in Ramadan? These things also. Yeah? These things also. How much dua have you made in Ramadan? Now the ulama say, how do you know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has accepted your deeds? How do you know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has accepted your deeds? Does anyone know? How do you know? Huh?
You continue the action? Or?
Yeah, that He gives you the opportunity to do more good deeds. So, He gives you the opportunity to do more good deeds. So, what does that mean? It means that right now, in the mosque, they're asking for charity, for example, and I give £10. I give £10, and then when I'm walking in the street, a beggar comes up, and he's asking me for money, and I've got £1. I have a choice now. I can say, I just gave £10, and have that attitude. Okay? Or I can realize that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given me the opportunity to consolidate the £10 that I spent. And so even if, wallahi, if I just give 1 pence, I consolidate the £10 that I've done. Does that make sense? I consolidate it. And so right now when, and even Abu Bakr, when Aisha radiallahu anha, who's his daughter and the wife of the Prophet, when his cousin accused her of adultery, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَلَا يَأْتَلِ أُولِي الْفَضْلِ مِنْكُمْ. Yeah? Don't let the people of grace and bounty, the people of stature, fall back. Yeah? Why were you giving him charity? Was it not for the sake of Allah? Okay, he did what he did. Has Allah disappeared now? Carry on doing it because it's for the sake of Allah. Consolidate your good deeds. أَلَا تُحِبُّونَ أَن يَعْفُوَ اللَّهُ لَكُمْ. Don't you wish that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will forgive and erase your deeds, your bad deeds? So carry on. So when I say that we carry on after Ramadan with the good deeds that we're doing, it's not just so that next Ramadan we're better. What else is it for? The good deeds after Ramadan, what else are they for? So it's not just for next Ramadan, increasing capacity. What else is it for?
Yeah, after. The life after.
Life after. What else?
To gain the pleasure of Allah.
What else? Huh?
For yourself.
For your own safety. Okay, no.
To grow your comfort
Don't
zone.
do this after Ramadan, yeah?
Is it
what
not
else?
to please Allah?
Huh?
Is it not to please Allah?
Yeah, everything is. Consolidation of this Ramadan. The good deeds you do after this Ramadan are consolidation of this Ramadan, as well as preparation for the next. Do you understand? It's win, 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 win. Yeah? The good deeds after Ramadan are consolidation of this Ramadan. Don't dare that when Eid comes in, yeah, that you miss out the Sunnah. Don't dare do that. You consolidate this Ramadan by doing those deeds. What did I say in the beginning of the talk? That the Sahaba used to, for 6 months after Ramadan, pray, Ya Allah, accept our Ramadan. It's such a pivotal point in their life. Yeah? So, you consolidate this Ramadan by the deeds you do afterwards. And you consolidate those deeds by the deeds you do afterwards. Does that make sense? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accepts the good deeds by giving you opportunity to do more. Yeah? Which is why Sunnah, when we pray Sunnah, it's not just to complete the fard, but it's to consolidate it after as well. It's to consolidate it as well. That's the majority of what I have to say. I did say it was going to be short. I wanted it practical. So if anyone has any questions or any comments or any additions, and they can be about Ramadan, they can be outside of Ramadan, if I can answer, I will, inshallah.
When you said small and consistent, what if they're, and so for example, instead of doing, 35 pound a week of sadaqah, if you did it every day, £5 a day, would you say that's different, or
That's much
better
better.
to do it daily?
That's much better. £5 a day daily is better than £35 a week. Is better.
Is it just because you're?
It's because it's more consistent.
So you're
Even though the same amount, but it's more consistent. Yeah? You understand? It's a good, Jazakallah, that's a very insightful question. It's more consistent. Yeah? And if you then broke it down so that you're getting 50 pence an hour or whatever it is, yeah? It'll be even better. It'll be even better. Why? Because you're remembering Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's not about the amount, this is what people don't understand. Like, you can save your zakah till the last 10 days of Ramadan and say, oh, maybe inshallah I'll fall within Laylatul Qadr. Or you can spend the now. You spend the now, you get more reward. And then in Laylatul Qadr, pay 1 pence and watch what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does, how He multiplies it. Yeah? But it's better for you that you do it consistently. This is much, much, much better. It's much better. There's something I want to say about that. Let's go. We'll come back. Yeah, consistency beats
The price.
Yeah.
Basically, the value of it. A lot of people think the value leads to consistency.
No.
A lot of people think that.
Now, if you can put value and consistency, then you're increasing your capacity. And that's what this talk has been about. Okay? That's what this talk has been about. So what else? Any other questions? Did anyone do the thing yesterday when I said when you come to eat your food, that you calm down? You did it? You did it? You sure? That's too big a smile. Did anyone else do it? Huh? Yeah, it's not easy. So just to recap, because there's a lot more people here than last time. There are two types of patients. There's the patients that you're patient in difficulty, and there's a patient that you're patient in ease. And we said that one of the things in Ramadan that everyone gets is the patience of difficulty. So it's difficult not to eat, so you're fasting, and this is the patience you're getting. But when it comes time to eat, this is the patience of ease. Do you just dive into your food and gulp it, or do you slow yourself down? Okay, now, when you come to break your fast and you want to eat, slow down. And when you feel that you're full and you can't be bothered anymore, then eat. Do the opposite of what your body's asking you to do. Okay? Not so that you carry on eating after you're full, but just that initial, sometimes when you're so hungry and then you, let's say for example, you have a little bit and then you go for a walk and you come back, you're not hungry anymore. Yeah? But you have to carry on because in Ramadan you need that, the long days, etc. So I'm saying carry on. But don't go to the point where you can't. You go past the third of food and drink. Okay, so two people did you do it?
Yeah.
Do it, please. You'll see how, subhanAllah, your neurology screams. Yeah? Your neurology screams, it wants that food. It's halal now, what's stopping me? But this is you telling yourself, I'm in control. Yeah. I'm in charge. Yeah? I'm in charge. And this is the truth, because you know what it is? It's not that you stop eating because it's prohibited. You didn't stop eating because it's prohibited. You stopped eating because you submitted to the prohibition of Allah. Yeah? That's the thing people forget. You submitted to the prohibition of Allah. That's what stopped you from eating during the day. It's not that it's prohibited, it's that you submitted to it. And so when it's allowed, permissible, and you submit to your own will, then you overcome food. You're the master. You're the master. As opposed to the food being the one that's controlling you. Anything else?
I don't know if anybody else wants to share some of the things they wrote. If anyone's got something interesting
Okay.
that they think other people would benefit from.
Okay. That'll be useful. So these are things that we're doing in Ramadan that we didn't do before Ramadan. And then we want to close the gap after Ramadan. 50%. You pick one category after Ramadan and you close it by 50%. And then the month after you can close that same category again by 50%, or you can keep it as it is
Yeah.
and choose another category and close it by 50%, etc. Yes?
Not to read the Quran in English. You just take the same reward as you
Okay.
read in Arabic.
Good. So we mentioned this last time. If you read the Quran in English, you get the same reward as you do in Arabic. The Quran was sent as huda, as guidance. Yeah? So if you read it and you don't understand what it means, you get the reward of reading it, but you don't get the reward of pondering, you don't get the reward of being guided. The very reason why it was sent, we miss out on it. And so it's better that you read it in English than Arabic if you don't understand Arabic. Yeah? And that you just recite from your heart, from your memory, what you know in Arabic. So let's say, for example, you're in your car, right? Because a lot of people, they get stuck in the bureaucracy, the self-imposed bureaucracy. Oh, I want to read the Quran. Well, if you say Qul Huwallahu Ahad 1,000 times in one day, you've read 3 juz, really. There's no much difference. Do you understand? Especially if you don't understand what it means. Anyway, if you understand Qul Huwallahu Ahad, but you don't understand anything else, then better. Say Qul Huwallahu Ahad and nothing else for life. That's much better. Because then you're getting the reward of understanding it, you're getting the reward of saying it, and then read the English to be guided. So, yeah, the English is I advised last time the Quran project. The translation is very good. I think we've got a couple. The masjid's got a couple.
Just over there, anyway. Just across the road.
Oh.
We've got a whole box load for them.
Anything else? Or if anyone wants to share anything, that's not so. And don't do it. It doesn't have to be.
Like sleeping in the night.
Yeah.
Is it better to get a bit of sleep, or if you feel like you're not going to wake, is it best to stay awake? Because I stay awake till Fajr.
Okay, good. Fajr is compulsory. Yeah. So if you feel that you're going to pray Tahajjud or Taraweeh, and then you're going to be too tired to wake up for Fajr, then you sleep and you wake up for Fajr, because the compulsory always comes before the sunnah. If you feel that you can't, for example, if you sleep, you won't get up for Fajr, then don't sleep.
No, but what I'm trying to say is the sleep recommended to have, or if you don't have it, is it like?
It's neither here or there really.
Okay.
But siestas are recommended. The problem with Britain, yeah, and this side of the world going up, is you can't. Like if you live in Egypt or Saudi Arabia or somewhere like that, then Fajr moves an hour, yeah, and that's it. But here it goes from 3 a.m. to 7 or 8. So once you've got your body clock just right, it changes. So it's very difficult. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have mercy. The Prophet ﷺ mentioned that there will come a time where the people holding on to this religion, they will get the reward of 50 times the companions. And the companions said, Ya Rasulullah, they will get the reward of 50 of themselves or 50 of us. And he said, no, 50 of you. Yeah? He said, there will come a time where holding on to this religion will be like holding on to hot coal. And those people, at that time that hold on to the religion, their reward will be 50 times the reward of the Sahaba. Okay? And we know that the Sahaba's reward, I mean, the closeness that they had with the Prophet ﷺ and the piety and the taqwa that they had, So for us to have 50 times that, okay, I'm saying this just to go out of the topic a little bit, but it is within the topic. SubhanAllah, there's with the happening. My belief is that the main reason for these acts of terrorism, and not just with Muslims, but if you look, for example, at Christian terrorism, etc., you always find there's a kid at home. He's not really part of society, yeah. So they've been this alienation from society. Okay, now recent studies have shown that all of the Muslim terrorists, majority of 70% were second generation. Okay, and they didn't feel like, for example, when I go to Egypt, I don't feel Egyptian. Yeah, at the same time, when I'm here, yeah, they don't feel like they're British. And this double barrel, alienation, this double barrel where I don't feel like I have a culture. My parents' culture isn't my culture, and I don't feel this culture is my culture. Yeah, and they don't know anything about Islam. Very, very dangerous. That mix, that little cocktail there, is crazy. It's C4 basically. It's a very bad cocktail. Yeah, it's not a good cocktail to have. And within that, it's not just that the people, like for example, the media want us to feel alienated. The media want us to feel alienated. Yeah, if I feel like this is my country, they want me to feel alienated. Yeah, Muslim grooming gang, even though Muslims are 1% of the grooming gangs. Yeah, 1%, but if they're Muslims, even if they're not practicing, even if they don't think they're Muslims, yeah, but they have Muhammad or Abdul or blah blah blah.
But to be honest, I don't agree with nothing that they've done, of course. But
yeah,
the Muslims themselves, they're weak because the Muslims, they go onto TV and they say, "We're sorry."
This is what I'm coming to. Yeah, this is what I'm coming to.
Something happens, the Christian paedophile touches the kid. Do the Christians go on the TV and say, "We're sorry, Muslims"? They don't. So that's why they've caught us by our weakness, like always being apologetic, because a lot of us ain't originally from the country or something like that. So when we talk to them, we're always saying, sorry, this is not Islam, forget them, they're this, they're that. When Allah says even the most worstest Muslim is better than the pious Catholic.
So one of the things that's happening is, you're alluding to, is that because of that alienation, yeah, some people they make one of two choices, one of three choices. One is that they get alienated and they go down that route, and it's happening more and more. The war on terror, i.e. this media war on Islam, is making more and more terrorists. It's not getting less, it's getting more. So that is one option. Another option is to hold on to the hot coal, to say, you know what, alienated, not alienated, this is Allah's earth. Yeah? I'm not going to get out of your country. If you want to get off my planet, that's up to you. Yeah? This is Allah's earth. Okay? Then there's another option, right, which is that, let me try and beg my way, yeah, by saying that those people, as happened, for example, just today, an organization said that they were not Muslims. But you can't say that. You can't say they're not Muslims. Some of them said we're not going to pray on them. We pray the janazah prayer. Okay? It's not haram, yeah, because the Prophet ﷺ, for example, at the beginning, he didn't pray the janazah over someone that had a debt until someone paid that debt for him. Yeah? So it's more of a statement of, look, this is a bad thing. Don't think that debt is easy. Okay, so if someone kills, then it's understandable, this could be, but it's a very dangerous door. Because then another organization said, we're not going to pray janazah on them, and they're not going to be buried with the Muslims. So if they're not buried with the Muslims, they're going to be buried with the kuffar, then you're saying they're kuffar. Yeah? Very, very dangerous door to open. So these are the three options. Okay? And Ramadan comes to remind you of your identity, which is that you're a slave of Allah. Ibrahim alayhi salam, look at Ibrahim, the one who was thrown into the fire and came out chilling. Yeah? And yet the people saw him and they didn't accept Islam. 2 or 3 people accepted Islam on the hands of Ibrahim, apart from his children and his wives. 2 or 3 people accepted Islam on the hands of Ibrahim. Ibrahim, the father, the one who called us Muslimin, yeah, 3 or 4 people accept Islam on his hands. But did he feel alienated? He didn't. Because this is Allah's earth. So Ramadan comes to remind us that we are the slaves of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yeah? It's not just that we're a community. It's that we're the slaves of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Does that make sense? And so therefore you can't be alienated. You cannot be alienated. When you're here under the Master's wishes, His order. It's everyone else that can leave. Yeah? Which is why Mussa said, Kalla, no, I have with me my Lord. When they got to the river, and the army's behind him, and they're at the river, the Jews say, now what? What have you done to us? He said, no, I have with me my Lord. And he didn't know that he would hit that Allah told him that afterwards. So this has to be ingrained within us. Yeah, it has to be ingrained within us. Any other questions? Yes.
This is a topic. What happens if you're going in a non-Muslim cemetery or not following the Muslim tradition?
Not following the Muslim?
Yeah,
No, the burial, it depends, but if a person's asked not to be buried with Muslims, that's very bad. Yeah.
but if it's not
If
your
it's by
choice,
chance, yeah. So for example, some people here, they come, they don't have any family, they die,
Yeah.
and they cremate them, they burn them.
I didn't go that far, but
No, yeah,
it's
they cremate them. So in that situation, it's the Muslim community's responsibility to make the money. It costs about £3,500 now. When you die, it costs £3,500 to die, to be buried properly. So it's upon us to get that money and to say, no, he's going to be buried with the Muslims. This is our duty. Right? But this requires that we're awake, we're not asleep.
You know, some family, I think what she's trying to say, you know, some families, like say you come from a non-Muslim background.
But you write your will.
And you pass away.
In your will, but in your will, you write down.
That's right, but say your mum, it's your mum. She doesn't want nothing like, where are you taking my son?
No, but
for instance, in
but
Islam?
legally,
Where are you taking my son? I'm bringing him to the,
But legally-
the church to bury him.
legally,
Leave me alone. You know.
legally, it's the will.
okay,
That's,
if you have a will and you
he
die,
does. The guy himself.
if you don't have a will and you die,
So write a will.
Right, really big, but that's
I mean, there's usually a hamla or some kind of campaign when it comes to stuff like this. You get one message going out saying, this brother accepted Islam last week and then each other. You know, so there's always
You
that.
remember like Idris's? Did you go to Idris's father's funeral? They prayed the janazah without the body there because his mum, his family took the body and they weren't releasing it. They said, we're not letting you Muslims take the body, so they buried him already. And then we prayed in Green Lane without the body there. So this is what, I think that's what you're trying to say.
If in a situation where you don't have a choice, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is very merciful. Some people die in the middle of nowhere or in the sea with the sharks, etc. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is merciful. But what I'm saying to you is that if you know you're in a situation, you should write a will. I mean, every Muslim should have a will anyway. Tell people what who do you owe money to, and that you want it to be split Islamically. It's illegal.
Just anytime you write the will.
Yeah, it's a legal obligation.
Yeah.
Islamically, it's an obligation, especially in this country. Especially if you're married with kids, etc. Or if you have an estate, a big estate. Because if you don't write a will, it could go to the government. All your money is lost. If you're married, it goes straight to your wife. It doesn't go to your children. And then if she doesn't abide by Sharia, then it's haram. That's your money is supposed to be split up as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has ordained.
Has it to be notarized? Notarized. On the notary solicitor. Or can it be like...
No.
You can download some pro forma.
Yeah.
There's quite a
First
few.
ethical. If you search for first ethical wills, they have that. Anything else? On topic, off topic?
You know, ask a question.
Yes.
Like, say for instance, you're working in a place, and the prayer time it comes, but your manager is saying, you know, you need to finish this before you do it. Do you tell him I don't care what you're talking about and go and pray, or do you listen to him and this will put the prayer aside?
Outside of Jum'ah, you finish your work and then you pray. Outside of Jum'ah.
So if the guy, if it comes to prayer and the manager says no, you would finish.
You finish it, so long as you still have time for your prayer. So if Dhuhr comes
say
in.
it's like two, like it's basically like, say like you're working Land Rover and you're on a non-stop line, you know what I mean, where the chain's going and you're fixing whatever, and you look at the clock and it's time to pray.
But it's time to pray, but the prayer lasts for 4 hours, 5 hours. The
Four
time.
prayers.
Dhuhr, you can pray Dhuhr from when it starts,
Yeah, but say it's Maghrib.
and you've only got an hour and a half.
Yeah, like say you're on the line and he's telling you can't
So
pray.
you have to pray it within an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah? So if he tells you finish what you're doing, and it's a 15-minute job, then finish it.
So it's okay to postpone it.
Yeah. But if postponing it means that you'll miss the time,
Yeah.
then you have to pray.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And there are a couple of exceptions to that. If you want details, I'll give you, inshallah.
Yeah, sure.
But if it's Jum'ah prayer and you're a man, then you should look for another job, and and in the meanwhile, whether you pray or not, it depends upon the situation. But you should look for another job. Definitely.
But again, you've got that 4 hour slot, so you don't
The
have
Jum'ah, no.
Okay.
Unless, for example, like there's a mosque. Birmingham's is like in Hall Green. There's a mosque that prays at 1:30, 2:15, and 3 o'clock.
But you see,
No, I'm
like
talking
the
specifically
prescribed prayer, the prescribed time. If every day your manager's making you miss the prescribed time, is that still okay? Like
But the prescribed time is
when
is-
when it comes in, like
the prescribed. There's a window. There's a
so
window.
that's how big the window is.
Yeah.
That's the prescribed time.
Yeah.
Within there.
So let's say, for example, Dhuhr.
Yeah.
You can pray Dhuhr up until Asr.
Yeah.
You can pray Asr up until Maghrib.
Every day, if you've done that, there
Yeah.
will be no problem.
There's no problem.
Isn't there
But it's better
Yeah.
to pray in the Jama'ah.
No, of course.
On time.
But say like you've
But
got
if
hardship.
it's not a sin, it's
Yeah.
not a sin.
Okay. Sure.
It's not a sin.
There's a hadith where Jibreel alayhi salam came to the Prophet and said, pray now at this point in time, and the next day, or another time he said, pray the same prayer at this time. And so effectively he's teaching the Prophet the beginning time and the end time of the prayer.
Yeah.
Effectively, just to kind of show that there's a window for these things.
To be honest, I knew the beginning and end, but I thought, because the guy is telling you that you can't pray, then I thought it's bad if you're listening to him.
No,
And
you've got a window. You've got a window.
Thank you.
If you miss that window, that's the issue.
Yeah.
Yes.
Choose one talk with prayer. I have a question similar, but the question is, again, it's work related. Is it okay to day in, day out, Jum'ah, Dhuhr and Asr, pray them together?
The Prophet ﷺ, he would do Dhuhr and Asr together, and sometimes for no reason, so that if anyone needed to afterwards, there was a way for them. But when I say, but the catch or the caveat is that it can't turn into a habit. So it can't be something you're doing for 2 months. One off or every but it's not a habit. It's not now. It doesn't now become like a ritual. Now, for you, Dhuhr and Asr are the same. Like I know a guy. He's old. He's got his PhD. He's at home. Hardly goes out. He prays Dhuhr and Asr together every day. Yeah, that's wrong. So he has no need, and he's made that habit. But if you find that you've got a need, yeah, and you don't turn it into a habit, then you can make that, because the Prophet did that and other people have done it afterwards. Yeah. In summer, for example, there's no need to do that at all. But sometimes in winter, Dhuhr and Asr literally an hour and a half, 2 hours. Yeah, and it's dodgy. Yeah, like if you miss it, then it's dodgy. Then pray them together, and if you get time to pray Asr again. Yeah, but don't turn it into a habit. That's the problem. Yes.
You talk about Shias, they do Fajr alone, they do Dhuhr and Asr together.
Shias, they do lots of
Because that's what I heard. Shias, they do two at a time.
I just found out they can drink water while fasting.
Yeah, you can-
Quite interesting.
They pray 3 times a day, not 5.
With regards to the Jum'ah thing, especially like to exact example of Land Rover, What if you delay this? So it's you and 5 of you, like you and 4
No
others,
problem.
and then you do it at 5 p.m.
No problem. As long as it's within Dhuhr.
Is there a set minimum number of people for you to kind of
There's
declare?
different opinions of that. There's different opinions. There's lots different. How many of you are there?
Well, in that particular, because the nisab is 40, so we don't get 40 at work, because that's the strictest one.
Yeah.
But usually there's more than 3, so at least the
Some have said 3.
yeah, so at least the Hanbali opinion sounds.
Some have said 3. Okay. Yes.
About the Jummah prayer, if a man was working and he missed the Jummah prayer once every month, would he have to look for another job or not?
Yes.
Yeah.
He should do. Unless he's traveling. Unless he's
Is
traveling.
that true? I thought it's free.
No. Jum'ah,
So if he misses one every month and it's consistent, that's bad for him. He needs to leave the job.
if he misses one, it's bad for him because it's fard. Jum'ah isn't just dhuhr. Jum'ah is that you pray in congregation. Yeah. Now in Birmingham, I don't know how you could miss it because there's those that pray at 1:15 if you go to the uni, 1:30 if you go to most mosques, 2:15, 3. There's one that prays at 4:30. Yeah.
Okay, you can miss it if you've got a job that's like,
Yeah. So I'm saying,
anything, and
right. But that's what I'm saying.
manager's
That's what I'm saying.
non-Muslim, he don't care about
No.
your Jummah.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If with all of that spectrum, if within that spectrum, you're still missing it, you need a new job. Okay. Now I'm not saying quit without a job, but look for a new job.
So what are you gonna do then?
No, look for a new job. Yeah.
Okay.
Was Allah subhanahu your responsibility from Allah is to look for a new job. I'm not saying be a beggar in the street. I'm not saying that. Keep your job, but look for a new job. Yeah. Keep your job, but look for a new job. My father, Sheikh Sha'arawi, gave him a fatwa. He was working in the TV as an engineer, and they would be doing things that he was like, this is ridiculous. So for example, they would go and there'd be like a show for a dancer, yeah, and he would go with part of the crew and they'd film the belly dancer, and he was like, not only is this wrong, but we're lying because her face looks like a pizza. Yeah, she's got holes everywhere and spots, and she's this small. But they changed and this was back then, so 30 years ago. They changed the color and this and that and make her look gorgeous, and they zoom in and now she looks big. So it's like, not only is it haram, but we're lying. I mean, anyone here would be vomiting, but people at home are thinking, wow. So he went to one sheikh and he said, oh, no, you have to leave now. He said, but how do I feed myself and my family? He said, no, you have to leave now. He said, this doesn't make sense. He went to another guy. He said, stay, but just say astaghfirullah all day, don't worry. He said, so this is either this guy or this guy, both the opposite sides of the same extreme. And then he went to Sheikh Sha'arawi, he said, look, say astaghfirullah so long as you're there, but on the condition that you're looking for new work. So it's the same thing. Make astaghfar, but condition is that you have to look for new work. Yeah? Or start your own business. Which is even better. Anything else? Okay. No problem.
Imagine you're a Muslim and you're working in...
Imagine I'm a Muslim.
Imagine, no. You're a Muslim and you're
Today's a
working in
great
a
takfir.
Christian school.
Huh?
You're a Muslim and you're working in a Christian school,
Yeah.
which has something called collective worship, where they have basically their worship things, and you're taking part in that every single day. Is that a good workplace, or do you have to look for somewhere else?
You're not allowed to have collective worship. 100%. But you can opt out of that. In terms of human rights and stuff, you can opt out. Look, there's a difference between saying, guys, this is what Buddhists do, this is what Christians do, this is what Jews do. There's a difference between that and between acting it out. Yeah?
You just have to take part, you're not acting out. You have to sit there with the children.
Oh, but that's not taking part.
Is it wrong?
No, that's not taking part. Taking part is like literally getting on your knees. If there's a cow there that you drink his urine, yeah? Okay, that's taking part. But if you're just sitting there and they're being educated, and they're seeing...
doing their prayers, and then they will say, everybody bow your heads now, we're going to pray. Obviously, I'm not taking part, but I'm there physically, so I'm actually taking part.
No, if you move back and you stick out like a sore thumb, then you're not taking part. Yeah?
Maybe you'll get sacked.
But you have to, but in school you can't be, basic human rights is that everyone has their own religion and they can choose their own. So no one can coerce you to do that. But
It just depends what company.
you've got to differentiate between, you're in a situation where it's an educational setting and they're learning about other religions, that's okay. But yeah, but if they're literally like, I mean, even my son, he goes to judo, and in the beginning they go, and in the end they go like that. I say to him, just go like this, and that's it. In Islam, acts of worship outside of what we've been given through transcript are prohibited. And when you act a worship of another religion, it's a form of kufr.
Yeah, that's why, because there's a bit of shirk.
It's a form of kufr. So make tawbah and put your head up like that. Yes. Yeah, no worries.
It's not the platform.
But you're not. But that's what I'm saying.
The head teacher stands there, they talk, and then they say, this is all the story, we're looking at this parable today, and then we say, oh, we're going to do our prayer, and then everybody bow your head, say Amin or Amen, so they kind of merge everybody into, yeah.
A communal dua might be different. A communal dua is different, but a worship, you understand, where it's rich.
Called collective worship.
That's what they call worship. Christian calls dua worship. That's their worship. Dua.
They don't do that.
That's their whole like. See what you said?
I know.
Just get them to like pull out ahead.
What I used to do, what I was told to do by my parents, I mean, I homeschool, so I don't have that. But what I would advise anyone else to do is that if you have to go to assembly, firstly, by the way, I went to like a Catholic school, and we were allowed to opt out.
But you were a student, though.
She's a teacher.
Yeah, but you're talking, we changed subject now, she's talking about students.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, so those parents are ignorant. Those parents should opt their children out. If they can't opt their children out for some reason, they're in Russia and like, it's a communist state and they're being forced to do something, then they should read in their Qul Allah Ahad or something like that in their hearts and not participate. Even if they're sitting there, but they're not participating.
They participate by just doing their own dua, so they're like, Amin. And they're doing their own thing, going
Right,
Amin.
right. But in this country, at this time,
Yeah, you can't
they
do
should
that.
opt out.
Yeah, the parents, they know it's a Christian school, and they're happy for their children to go there.
So you see what you're saying? You missed one Jummah. I travel to work. Obviously, my work let me go to pray Jummah and mosque. But sometimes from the traveling time,
Now, if you're traveling,
yeah,
then it's okay for you to miss it anyway.
yeah,
But not 3 times in a row.
yeah.
The Shia, I once saw a Shia guy. He's given a fatwa. If you don't want to pray, if you don't want to fast in Ramadan, then travel, yeah, and then that allows you to break your fast. Okay, but what he doesn't understand, because he's, this is what they do, is the first pillar of fasting is your intention. So if when you're fasting you intend to break your fast, it's broken. You understand? If you intend it, even if you then unintend it, it's broken. Finish. End of story. Yeah.
So if you're fasting and you're like, I really would.
No. I really want isn't an intention. I really want is a desire. Yeah? Okay. No, I mean like, you're like, you know what? That's it. I'm gonna eat now. Yeah. You've made the intention. When people aren't looking, I'm gonna take that thing. I'm going to the toilet and I'm gonna eat. Yeah. That's an intention. Okay. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about that, the intention. So when he says, oh, just drive somewhere else, well, you've already broken it. Because you intend to drive somewhere else to break your fast.
So should you fast if you drive, if you're traveling?
It's up to you. If it's going to cause you more physical harm, you don't have to. And even if you're traveling and you don't want to fast, even if you just can't be bothered, it's up to you.
You wouldn't get no sin if you couldn't be bothered when you travel.
Yeah, so I travel every day, but I still still see that you should be fasting.
To be honest with you, it's just easier to get it over done with.
Yeah.
It's easier. So sometimes you're traveling, you're like, it's Ramadan, I'm in the spirit, I don't want to break and start. If you fall ill, for example, and then you have to start again, it's not, you break that flow.
Yeah.
It's for the brothers, it's not something used to. There's a lot of difference of opinion. There's a lot of difference of opinion about that. A lot.
What opinion do you follow?
Depends on the day. Depends on the day. The one that I'm happy with is that, but then it depends as well. But anyway, that you leave what's like, you leave the civilized, like if you're in a city and you leave the city. To me, that's like, so for example, if I go from here to
Solihull.
Nah.
I go from here, some people say from here to Coventry is enough.
Yeah.
Yeah? But from here to Coventry in London, in terms of distance, London is that. I mean, from here to Leicester, it takes me an hour and 20 minutes.
See, I travel to like Derby, Nottingham.
Yeah, so same.
Every day.
Yeah. From here to Leicester is an hour and 20 minutes. In London, going from one end of London to the other end of London is just the same. It's like, it's hell. I would consider it traveling, yeah? But it's not, because you're still in the same city. Yeah? So that's the one I go with, I think is a little bit stronger. Then the other ones, 40 miles, 30 miles, blah, 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 but different. But there's really no, there's no real, in Arabic it's called illah, there's no real factor that you say this is the reason why you do it. So it's all ijtihad, it's all different opinion. And we respect, I mean, if someone comes up with an opinion that is based upon the sources, then it's between them and Allah. We don't say, it's between them and Allah, and that's it. And this is part of the mercy of Islam. Too many people, if someone disagrees with them, then that's it. That's it. Completely. It's ridiculous. Okay? Shall we call it day?
Yeah, in Surah Yusuf now.
Jazakumullah khair.
Okay. Thanks a lot for coming.
All right.
Okay. So, where did we reach last session? I missed one of the sessions. 22nd ayah. Probably need to speed it up this session then.
We don't have to complete a set amount of days.
Yeah.
We can just go through maybe 3-4 days and then
Yeah.
swap them to a bit more.
Inshallah, okay. So we're looking at Surah Yusuf, and the purpose of this session is for us to reconnect with the Quran, but also to get different insights and to realize just from one surah how much different people are going to get different things out of it, just reading the same verse. So number 22 says that when Yusuf alayhi salam became kind of old enough, or when he came to his own, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him hukman wa ilma, so he got not only power and command but also knowledge. وَكَذَلِكَ نَجْزِي الْمُحْسِنِينَ. So this is where the second part of the story starts. Do you guys prefer if we do Arabic first and then English, or should we just stick to the English?
It's up to you.
Can we do both?
Yeah.
Okay, sure. So we'll do both. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. وراودته التي هو في بيتها عن نفسه وغلقت الأبواب وقالت هيت لك قال معاذ الله إنه ربي أحسن مثواي إنه لا يفلح الظالمون. So the translation is that she called to him, the person whose house he was in, onto herself, and she closed all the doors and said, come here, or come to me. And he said, Ma'adh Allah, I seek refuge from Allah. He is my Lord, the best of people to live with, or the best of people who give me sustenance. Verily, He doesn't give success to the transgressors or the people who commit them. So, I mean, most of us probably know the story of this starting about how the woman whose house he was living in, Imra'atul Aziz, the wife of Aziz. Most examples say wife of Aziz. She tried to call him onto herself, so she tried to seduce him. So what kind of anybody want to start us off with a reflection on this? So really put yourself in that situation where, and it even says غَلَّقَتِ الْأَبْوَابَ, so she locked the doors. So she waited for a time that everybody left. She locked the doors up, probably adorned herself, dressed up nice, and then she came at him.
Were there any windows?
This man asks the important questions, right? Presumably she locked them as well. So when we say this, because he looked pretty stuck, and like reading on, there's going to be clear signs that they were in a state of khulwa, basically. They were secluded. Okay. I think that's exactly the reaction he would have had, genuinely, where he was like, "Oh God, I'm stuck." Yeah. And you get stuck in those situations sometimes. If like at uni, your tutor is a woman, or for us a woman, for sisters if it's a guy, or if you're stuck in a meeting with your manager or something, and then they close the door to the meeting room, and you're just like, so, anybody else want to bring in
the meaning of what it is?
Like, what do you kind of get from that? What experience are you extracting from it? She's his boss. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
true.
she probably wasn't expecting it, especially because.
Plus her husband, he's letting his wife like stay in the house with the work of the like.
Yeah.
He's created that issue because he's the husband. If you got a wife, basically, you don't say to your friend, 1 minute, I'll be back in a minute, and then your wife and your friends in the house. You know what I'm saying?
Those are the environment. It's still very much the environment in our countries now. You've got work, you've got the guy who maybe America's a bad example, but you will have people who work for the house.
But it's mainly the woman is working, isn't it?
No, you get men and women who work.
The men work with the woman in the house.
Yeah, they're like the maintenance guy, for example. The maintenance guy, depending on what kind of house you have, right?
Okay.
You've got a mansion, you've got a maintenance guy who works the house, then.
Yeah, I mean, when the British gas dude comes to check your meter or something, and your wife's alone, what are you going to do? You can't take time off work or something. But in this particular case, it's interesting because Aziz and his wife took Yusuf alayhi salam in when he was like 11. So they're like,
Yeah, he was like her son.
yeah, she's really like his mom. So this is like, what are you doing?
However, Yusuf alayhi salam, may I point out, was given half the world's beauty. And therefore, understandably, he is absolutely handsome.
Okay, so that's a good point. Most of us don't have to worry about it then.
You sure? I'm joking.
Okay. But that something else. Sorry. Yeah. So he said, treat him like a son. The verse that says, the same verse that says, "Innahu Rabbi ahsana mathwai," that He is my Lord, the best of mathwai. I translate it as sustainer, but it says here, "My Master has been good to me." And now there's two things. One is many translators, actually even in mine I've got two translations, which one of them has put Rabbi as Allah my Lord, and I can't go against Allah, but the second one says I can't go against Rabbi as in my sustainer, as in my boss, your husband. I can't betray your husband like this. And the second thing is she was really beautiful as well. So she was one of the most beautiful women in the city. So the ayah continue. The story continues. وَلَقَدْ هَمَّتْ بِهِ وَهَمَّ بِهَا لَوْلَا أَن رَّأَىٰ بُرْهَانَ رَبِّهِ كَذَٰلِكَ لِنَصْرِفَ عَنْهُ السُّوءَ وَالْفَحْشَاءَ إِنَّهُ مِنْ عِبَادِنَا الْمُخْلَصِينَ. Now, وَلَقَدْ هَمَّتْ بِهِ, so she made for him, so she was interested in him basically, and he would have been interested in her, and actually it starts out saying, and he got interested in her, لَوْلَا أَرْرَأَ except that he saw the sign of his Lord, or he saw evidence of his Lord. So basically, Allah kind of, you can say, threw fear into his heart, or something happened. So he had like a moment, and this is despite the fact that he's a prophet. But when he was stuck in that situation, and he was like, yo, I could get away with this. And he had a moment of weak,
Just to add to your point, I think that there's difference of opinion here of what that the point that you just made, whether he actually felt something towards her and vice versa. But I think the point to make personally, the point that I make from this part here is that it is a natural feeling. It is normal that you are going to be attracted to the opposite gender. That Allah has put that natural feeling in me, and he's the prophet, subhanAllah. So it's the bit that comes after that. What he did with it, the fact that he feared Allah, that anyone can find themselves in that situation, but it's that knowing that you fear Allah, and that's constantly going to be it's got to be the first thing that you fear in your heart.
and that is taqwa.
The sin isn't that you have a desire, the sin is really acting on it.
Of course, Yusuf alayhi salam was protected because Anbiya and Rusul are ma'soom, so they're innocent. So he would never have done it anyways, but he even, he kind of, you can say, because in, again, the following ayahs, we see him kind of panic almost and say to Allah that, to protect him. كَذَلِكَ لِنُصْرِفَ عَنْهُ السُّوءَ. So this is what we did to clear him away, or steer him clear of as-su' wal-fahsha, of the evil, but also of the fitna. إِنَّهُ مِنْ عِبَادِنَا الْمُخْلَصِينَ. He is actually, it says he is one of our righteous but pure-hearted. Like his intention was pure, his heart was in the right place, so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did let him veer off track. وَاسْتَبَقَ الْبَابَ وَقَدَّتْ قَمِيصَهُ مِن دُبُرٍ وَأَلْفَ يَا سَيِّدَهَا لَدَى الْبَابِ قالت ما جزاء من أراد بأهلك سوءا إلا أن يسجن أو عذاب أليم. So then they raced towards the door. So he did a runner, right? He tried to run, and she tore his shirt from behind. So she tried to grab onto him, and at the door, literally at that moment, her husband enters. So she turns around to him, and this is his wife, and she goes, "What's the reward?" And reward in this jaza, it has a negative connotation. What do you do to someone? Okay, what do you do to someone who wanted for your family, for me basically, for your wife, evil, who intended evil for your wife? And this brings in there's a lot of discussion in the modern sense about consent and rape and all that. Basically, what she accused Yusuf alayhi salam of was that her husband came back. He's like, "Look what he just did to me. What are you going to do to him? What does he deserve, rather than to go to jail or a very painful punishment?" So she flipped it around right on him. Yusuf alayhi salam turns around and he goes, "What? قال هي راودتني عن نفسي وشهد شاهد من أهلها إن كان قميصه قد من قبل فصدقت وهو من الكاذبين وإن كان قميصه قد من دبر فكذبت وهو من الصادقين. So Yusuf alayhi salam goes, hey, she's the one who did this. She called me on herself, and someone from her family. So, I mean, where are we so far? Like, does anyone want to add anything to? Where basically it's his word against hers.
Yeah. She's good now. Get because her.
Yeah. So he's got no chance. He's in a pretty bad situation.
But the other servants says to judge from where the...
Right. So this is where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala creates an outlet for Yusuf alayhi salam. So in that moment there's panic, but and now either this happened later when they tried to talk about it later, or possibly, and this is what most mufassirin say, that actually Aziz was coming with one of her family. So with his brother-in-law, or her dad or something was with him when he came. And that guy, so basically the evidence came from her family. Someone from her family, one of her relatives, said, if his shirt's ripped from the front, then it's clearly his fault. So, because he was facing her, so he was trying to attack. Whereas if it's from behind, then she was probably chasing him, so then he's the one telling the truth. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created kind of an outlet in that sense, in someone from her family, almost giving witness for him. So now, obviously, what are they going to see? Shirts are from behind. Well, what do you think they should do?
What do I think they should do?
What's Aziz going to do? Her husband, what's he going to do?
He's going to look past that and still think it's his fault, isn't it?
Okay. That's yeah.
He's in denial.
You don't really know.
You didn't really know.
Yeah, that's what it
You don't
is.
know about is he could be a kind man or he could be an unfair man. Did he hate Yusuf or is he like you don't know about that?
So فلما رأى قميصه قد من دبر قال إنه من كيدكن إن كيدكن عظيم. So when he saw that her shirt had been ripped from the front, what he did was he just said, women in it. That's basically what he said. They said, this is one of your tricks, or this is some of the things you do, and indeed your tricks are amazing. Now, yeah, I'd like to, what do people think about that? Is that that's the mainstream tafsir, that this ayah means, he said, this is what women do. But could he have meant something else? Okay, so he knows his wife, that she's a bit of a devious character.
No, because Allah made women more softer, more emotional, more
I much prefer that. No, I do much prefer that. She's not necessarily a horrible bad person, just that she is more... Yeah, we are logical at times, but also when there's an emotion that sometimes takes over, but actually, she's not a bad person. Maybe there was actually an interest between the two of them, and it's not something that just happened. She just came and closed the door. No, maybe it's something that happened over time because he's been there for quite some time, and they're in each other's company. And maybe the husband...
I don't think she's seen him grow up. She's seen he was strong. She said, "MashaAllah, this guy, I want him." That's what she said.
Maybe the husband's always absent, and maybe he doesn't pay any attention to her, etc.
Oh,
There are
yeah.
many maybes. There are many maybes.
And he's so kind to her that she has misinterpreted and she just tried it.
Because, again, most of the mufassirin that, again, I've managed to read, most of them are guys. So when they say women, it's like, does this fit in with modern feminism? I don't know. What do we do?
Good point about...
Yeah, he's clearly not a very jealous guy, so he might not give him enough attention. If he just said it's just women, after he found out he's
That he doesn't have any jealousy.
Okay.
That's sad.
maybe we should look into his...
Yeah. And again, it would be interesting to look into his what?
Maybe she says maybe he's the problem.
Maybe he's the problem. Okay.
Yeah, he is, because he left his wife alone with the guy. Anyway, so
He's still
Yeah, no, but that,
Pretty angry
that
about
is a recipe for disaster, I'll be honest. Like,
Yeah. Again, I think that does go into the whole try to avoid putting yourself and other people in those situations as much as possible.
Brother, may I say something on the husband's thing? Because Allah tells you, if you see something bad in your wife, look for something good. So,
Yes, but a woman should always have a method.
Yeah.
She should always have someone protecting her.
Keep it in until he gets, otherwise then your husband's going to get away.
But the idea is to kind of, look at this verse and, I mean, one of the purposes, how do we relate directly to the characters? But it's also, it's okay to think, I mean, as long as we don't kind of try to explicitly put that into, or think that that's fact. I mean, this is just kind of a discussion on what does the verse mean and what lessons can we glean from it. We'll end the ruku here. يوسف أعرض عن هذا واستغفري لذنبك إنك كنت من الخاطئين. So this is what he said. He says, Yusuf, overlook this and you ask forgiveness for your sin, you've done wrong. And again, this might have taken some time and some, conflict resolution and fighting and stuff like that to get to this. But this is where this chapter stops. Or this actual episode, this incident stops with Aziz and Mussa saying, okay, we're going to look past this. I trust Yusuf, because again, he's been with Yusuf for at least 10 odd years now. So he says to Yusuf, okay, look past this, don't put yourself in this position again. And possibly one thing he did was, maybe get him separate accommodation or something. But then the next bit of the story that will continue in the next session on Sunday, we'll talk about how did Yusuf alayhi salam end up in jail and what happened in jail. We'll end on that. وَالْعَصْرِ إِنَّ الْإِنسَانَ لَفِي خُسْرٍ إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ. Sorry?
Wednesdays and Sundays.
Wednesdays and Sundays, yeah.
With the iftar.
Inshallah. Yeah.